Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnackren. Taking a look at some of the top stories that we're following right now. Here's the top story at the moment on AtlantaNewsFirst.com, which you see is a school bus crash that left some students hurt. It was a crash between a school bus and a car into Cobb County. It happened earlier this morning, according to the county fire department. 4 of the students suffered minor injuries. Someone in the other vehicle had moderate injuries. It happened in Ellenwood. We are gathering more information. We're going to bring you the latest here on Atlanta News First Plus, of course, all of our platforms. If you haven't done so yet, I encourage you to download our free app and you can get updates sent right to your phone. I also want to show you the scene of another major story that we're following as well, also involving a school once again. And let me just show you this scene. Look at this. This is captured by First Alert Chopper over the scene in Cobb County at an elementary school where parents actually were told to pick up their kids because of a fire. So the fire broke out earlier this morning here in East Cobb at Tritt Elementary School in Marietta, where an AC unit reportedly caught fire. Flames could actually be seen coming from an outside unit, smoke coming from that building as well. And let me show you just another piece of video that our crews gathered, and you see that smoke, really thick smoke coming out of that building, and you see those flames, and this is actually some images captured. But parents tell us that buses were diverted to Hightower Trail Middle School, the school telling them to go pick up their kids, and a district spokesperson sent Atlanta News First a statement regarding the incident saying, quote, "The start of the school day was disrupted due to smoke from an early morning HVAC issue. No students were in the building, and students are safe." So obviously that's the important thing there. And they also went on to add that the fire department arrived quickly, resolved the issue, and we're currently assessing the building and any necessary changes to the schedules. And from what we understand, no school today at that school. Thankfully, no students were in the building at the time, and the teachers who were evacuated safely. All right, let's get to the latest on what happened at Delta yesterday that we brought you as breaking news, extended coverage here on Atlanta News First Plus. So now federal inspectors are looking into what exactly caused the explosion near Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport yesterday, which killed 2 Delta maintenance workers and also badly injured a third. Atlanta News First Rebecca Schramm reports that we're starting to learn more now about the victims.
One victim was in his 50s, the other in his 30s. They were working at a maintenance facility not far from the international terminal when this happened, and it was a tragic accident. Workers were disassembling some wheel components that were not attached to an aircraft at that moment when there was an explosion. One person was badly injured. 2 others were killed. Authorities identified them as 58-year-old Mirko Marweg of Stone Mountain and 37-year-old Luis Alarando of Noonan. Marweg's son tells us his father loved his job. Delta released a statement saying the whole team is heartbroken over this and that they've launched a full investigation to try to figure out how this happened. Federal inspectors from OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also are investigating this. We have some audio for you. This is the moment first responders announced to dispatchers just how bad the situation was.
Be advised, we got a total of 3 victims. 1 victim being transported by Medic 2 to Grady Hospital.
And we are working to get the condition of the 3rd person, the one who was injured in the accident. At Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And thank you so much to Rebecca for that report. Also, today, Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz begin their 2-day bus tour through South Georgia. Atlanta News First Asia Wilson is in Atlanta breaking down how important these stops are during this election season.
You're exactly right. And if you think about it, since Vice President Harris has been in the White House, she has made about a dozen stops here in Atlanta, and half of that occurred this year alone. But some political experts say, wow, the Harris campaign might have a lot of support here in Metro Atlanta. It's not enough to win the entire state. Now, it's the reason why Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, will start their bus tour in Middle and South Georgia today, ending Thursday with a rally in Savannah. According to the campaign, Walz will not join Harris at the final rally. As you know, touching every part of the Peach State is crucial, especially when in 2020, President Biden won the state by less than 12,000 votes. And we know Donald Trump held plenty of rural rallies in areas where he won in 2020 with as much as 80% of the vote in places like Perry, Dalton, and Valdosta. And with just a few weeks left until the November election, political experts say both Harris and her opponent, Republican nominee Donald Trump, will have to continue to rally supporters for the rest of the campaign season.
Even if you're looking for a handful of votes, those votes could end up mattering in the long run. Because it's going to be a close race, you have to make sure that you can bring out Democratic voters in even more Republican areas, particularly in South Georgia.
And again, the rural Georgia could be a key deciding factor in this presidential election. And also, for the first time, Vice President Harris, along with her running mate, Governor Walz, will be doing a sit-down interview with CNN. It's expected to air tomorrow, right here in Georgia. In Atlanta, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
Okay, and I want to show you this look. This is footage from inside the YSL trial. And let me switch over to a live look. This is actually a live look inside the courtroom right now. And if you want to watch and listen to the testimony, go over to our special event stream, our secondary stream. But I want to let you know, just making headlines, that there's a new bid now to toss out this trial, the state's longest running criminal trial, which currently actually has no end in sight. The woman who wants the case dismissed is aiming for the Fulton County District Attorney's seat. Her name is Courtney Kramer, who's been challenging DA Fonnie Willis for the job. She wants to put an end to the Young Thug YSL RICO trial, sending us a statement saying, quote, "I'm absolutely dumbfounded as to the motives in spending endless amounts of taxpayer dollars on a prosecution that is based almost entirely on witnesses with no credibility." That is a direct quote, and we did reach out to the DA's office, who declined to comment. In terms of what has happened this week, court obviously back in session today. As you can see, we have been hearing from Kenneth Copeland, a key witness on the stand, also known as Lil Woody, and he's been giving a lot of testimony, really explaining the conflicting statements he made from when he was first interrogated by police. Let's play a little bit of what happened in court yesterday.
When the police were questioning me, my only motive was to get me out of the interrogation room free. I was trying to say whatever I can to get them to let me go, to convince them that I would help them. And they just were my motive.
So that was yesterday in court, and here again, this is a live look as we are seeing Lil Woody on the stand once again live. If you want to watch that, continue watching. You want to listen into the testimony, go to our special event stream. We call it our secondary stream here on Atlanta News First Plus, and we are bringing you gavel to gavel coverage. All right, let's talk about the near record heat for a moment here. You're laughing. I'm gonna send it over to First Alert meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. She can tell you about the near record heat.
Yeah, it is going to be a scorcher today. Clearly, 96 degrees, pretty hot. Now, we are in August, so this isn't necessarily super unusual for us. Now, when it comes to terms of our average high, this is well above that. We should be in the upper 80s this time of year, but we do usually get this kind of second push of summer this time of year, just about every year. This year, actually, or this time last year, I should say, we actually were in the upper 90s as well. Now, I looked back several years, and that didn't happen every year for the past, let's just say 5 years. We did round out August at least a little cooler, but we're giving you this First Alert weather day today and tomorrow just because we've had this beautiful fall-like feel, and now it's going right back into feeling more like summer. So, it's going to be a little more dangerous for you to kind of be outdoors. A lot of kids, of course, have their after-school sports practices. We do have an air quality alert today, so if you suffer from lung or respiratory or cardiac issues, you just want to limit your time outdoors in the heat of the day today because this heat really isn't anything to mess with. Again, we shouldn't be this hot this time of year, but it is Georgia, and the weather just always seems to throw us some surprises. So 96 for a high today. The record is 98, set back in 1954. I don't think we're going to make it to 98 degrees today, but it will feel more like the upper 90s, so it'll at least feel like record heat. The heat risk today, a little higher than it has been in days past. We've had a lot of the white and really light yellow color taking over this map the last couple of days, which would indicate that heat risk being very low because obviously our temperatures haven't been excruciatingly high and our humidity has actually been on the tolerable end. So now that the humidity is slowly starting to rise, today it's not going to be oppressive, but you will notice it'll be at least a little more uncomfortable out there, especially with the higher temperature. But tomorrow the humidity really takes over, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the heat risk grow as we head into tomorrow. Here's a look at the temperatures through the day today. So if you have any lunch plans or maybe you go and take your dog out for lunch on your lunch break, temperatures will be in the mid to upper 80s at that point. So you'll just want to try to keep, if you again are walking your dog this afternoon, try to keep their paws on the grass or in some shadier areas because it is going to be pretty hot for their paws. And then by 3 o'clock, that's when we'll top out in the mid 90s today. Some spots reaching the upper 90s. Regardless, it's going to feel like the upper 90s. And then around 6 o'clock this evening, temperatures will go back into the low 90s, and we won't dip back into the mid 80s until around 9 p.m. tonight. Here's a look at the high temperatures area-wide. So again, mid to upper 90s, low 90s for the mountains, but nonetheless a really hot day. Places like Eatonton and Rome topping out again in the upper 90s. Going to be a hot one with near record heat for the day today, feeling even hotter. Now, again, I mentioned the humidity hasn't necessarily really made its full comeback just yet. These are a look at the dew points. The further south and east you go, our wind is going to start to shift out of the south. So it's going to pull in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, pull in moisture from the Atlantic Ocean. So if you're south of Atlanta, you're going to get that advection of that higher humidity first. So notice the dew point numbers are generally in the mid to upper 60s. The further south you go, that's pretty sticky. But the further north of Atlanta you go, still feeling pretty comfortable out there, hot. But the humidity is not super high, especially if you go north of Metro. So today, not necessarily our most humid day, but that does change tomorrow. Look at how much that humidity takes over tomorrow. We're talking dew points in the 70s in some spots, so naturally it is going to feel even hotter. I don't think we're going to be in that heat advisory criteria tomorrow, but it is back to that summer-like sticky feel as we head into your Thursday afternoon. Here's a look at the feels like temperatures today. Again, don't get me wrong, it's still going to be hot. It's still going to feel like the upper 90s, especially the further south and east of Atlanta you go where that humidity is going to be a little higher. So from Athens down to Eatonton into LaGrange, it will feel more like the upper 90s, maybe even triple digits in Eatonton. And as we head into tomorrow, again, with that humidity soaring even more, everyone is going to feel more like the upper 90s to maybe even triple digits. Some spots might push heat advisory criteria like Eatonton tomorrow afternoon. So just prepare for that. As you're thinking about the next couple of days, just make sure that you're thinking about packing plenty of water, that light, loose, light colored clothing. That's always best when we do have this heat kind of come back into play. Heading into Labor Day weekend, of course, a big holiday weekend for a lot of you, maybe getting that extra day off on Monday. We will start to increase the rain chances along a cold front, along and ahead of a cold front. In fact, we'll have a couple of fronts move in. So Saturday will be the driest day and no days a washout. Sunday, Monday, rain coverage at about 40%. But because it's fronts that we're working with, we're actually going to have temperatures cool back into the 80s. So after being near record heat today, or having almost record heat today, our temperatures will take a trend in a cooler direction as we head into next week and ultimately the start of September. So Labor Day weekend, if you have any plans, don't cancel them. Just keep in mind, especially in the afternoon hours, we will have that chance for showers and storms to kind of fire up as a couple of fronts start to make their way into the southeast. We're going to start to introduce rain chances tomorrow, though. So again, with that heat and humidity, we have more moisture in the air. We're going to go into that summer-like pattern. So notice tomorrow, 2 o'clock, kids are getting onto the bus to head home from school, maybe some after-school activities going on. We will have the chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, heavy downpours, some gusty wind, frequent lightning. No severe threat, though, just kind of your general run-of-the-mill garden variety afternoon showers and storms. Friday, we'll do it all over again with just the chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms during the heat of the day. If you have any early evening dinner plans tomorrow or Friday, maybe a few isolated storms around, but generally as we head closer to sunset, everything starts to quiet down. Let's talk about those cold fronts. So again, Saturday, about a 40% coverage of showers and storms, mainly in the afternoon. Essentially what's going to happen is a front's going to start to push in. It's going to run into all that moisture that is making it feel humid out there, and it's going to lift all of that up. But usually you kind of need also the heat of the day to help lift it even more and produce the higher coverage of showers and storms. So as that front is ushering in Saturday afternoon, it's going to run into all that moisture in place, and then the heat of the day is going to work with it to ultimately produce the chance for afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. This particular model does think Sunday is going to be fairly rainy, but models have been going back and forth with how much coverage that we are going to see along this front. So we're going to keep keep about a 40% chance for showers and storms right now on Sunday. And then that front moving through a little bit quicker, dissipating, and a second front moves in quickly behind it. Now, this front won't have as much moisture to work with, so it's going to be mostly dry as it moves through. You might notice a breeze on Monday. Most of the rain and storms sit south of Atlanta and more along coastal and South Georgia as we head into the Labor Day holiday on Monday. And behind that front, temperatures do start to cool down. In fact, take a look at this. We're going to go from 96 today and tomorrow all the way back down to 83. So within a week, we're going to have a 13-degree temperature drop in our high temperature, which is going to be phenomenal. Again, best chance for rain right now does look to be Sunday into Monday with the coverage at about 40%, but no day looks to be a washout if you do have any of those Labor Day weekend plans. So let's put it all together here for you with our First Alert 7-day forecast. 2 First Alert weather days today and tomorrow because it's just simply going to get really hot. We haven't had temperatures like this in a little while. We've had a really beautiful break, but it doesn't look like this is going to last all that long, so you just got to kind of hang in there. Mid-90s today and tomorrow, feeling more like the triple digits tomorrow for all of us. Tomorrow, the humidity really makes its comeback. That will promote the chance for afternoon scattered showers and storms. We'll keep small chances for rain, again, primarily in the afternoon and evening, all the way through Saturday. And then Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, we'll ramp up those rain chances just slightly. But that could change. Tuesday's rain chance could start to go down just depending on how quickly that front moves through and then how much moisture that secondary front has to work with. So the most important thing, though, is that's going to cool us down, bringing us back into the low 80s after several days in the low to mid 90s. Relief on the way, everyone. And again, don't go canceling those Labor Day weekend plans if you have them. Just keep in mind during the afternoon, you might need to make your way back inside if you're spending some time by the pool or on the water. You'll want to just kind of keep your eyes to the skies. All right, everyone, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on Atlanta News First Plus for your news and weather headlines. We always appreciate you spending some time with us when we are here to give you our latest top stories and, of course, your latest on the forecast. Make it a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll catch you here next time.